Hello. So today's lesson, we're going to be using a calculator to find the area of a circle. But we're going to start with our times table starter, obviously non-calculator. And while you're working on these, you can pause and we'll come back and mark them. Okay, welcome back. So here's our answers, just marking your own. Okay, so to find the area of a circle, we use pi, just like we've done for circumference, and we multiply it by the radius squared, or pi times the radius times the radius. So remembering, if we're using our scientific calculator, the key buttons, the important buttons, is this shift button here, this 10 to the power x button. So shift and 10 to the power x gives us pi. We may get an answer with pi in it still, and then we just press this button, our SD button, to give us an answer in normal numbers. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. So here's our first example. So we're going to say we know that the area is pi multiplied by 4 squared, or 4 times 4. So I'm going to get my calculator, shift times 10 to the power x, multiplied by 4, gives me an answer of 16 pi, which, if I press the SD button, gives me an answer in normal numbers, and I've got to 2 decimal places, 50.27. And we've got lengths in centimeters, so we've got an area in centimeters squared. Okay, so here's our second example. Again, we're going to just say area is equal to pi times 6 squared, or 6 times 6. So let's put that into our calculator. Got 36 pi, and then to 2 decimal places, we've got an answer of 113.10. And again, we've got lengths in centimeters, so we've got area in centimeters squared. Right, so let's look at our last example now. So this one, we're not given a radius here. We've been given a diameter of 10, but if we remember that the radius is sorry about that. The radius is half of the diameter, so the radius here must be 5 centimeters. I'm not really sure what's going on here. So our area is equal to pi multiplied by 5 squared, or 5 times 5. So I put that into my calculator and I end up with 25 pi. Pressing my SD button, I'll end up with an area of 78.54 centimeters squared. So main task now, we've got 12 circles here to find the area of all of them. Ignore this here at the top that says to use 3.14. That's when we're not using a calculator, but we're using calculators today. So answers to 2 decimal places. So while you're working on those, you can pause and we'll come back and mark our own. There is also a challenge question. So that'll be on your screens in a bit. So you can have a go at that and pause while you're working on that as well. And we'll come back and look at all the answers. So here's the challenge question. So the area of the shaded parts there. Okay, so welcome back. Here's our answers to section 1 and section 2. And here is the answer to the challenge question. So the way that I did it is I said, well, the whole thing would have a radius of 6 meters. So the area would be 36 pi, and I left it as pi. And that center part here, I said that would have an area of 9 pi. And then, so the shaded area would be 36 minus 9 pi, which would be 27 pi. And that was the first time I actually used a calculator there, was I just put 27 times pi and got an answer of 84.83 meters squared. So let's have a look at our checking question. So again, we've been given a diameter and we want the radius for area, but I know that the radius is half the size of the diameter, so I know we've got a diameter of 3.5 centimeters here. So our area is pi times 3.5 squared, or 3.5 times 3.5. So I'm going to use my calculator. So I've got pi times 3.5 times 3.5. Using my SD button, then I've got an answer to 2 decimal places of 38.48. We've got lengths in centimeters, so our area is in centimeters squared. Okay, well, thank you very much. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.